All I'm missing here is a bit of whiskey to go off all the ice.
Well, you know what we used to do last year is we'd go a bit past the turnaround point where what people weren't walking all day, and we'd chip off the first layer of ice and then like saw into the glacier, take a chunk,
Yeah.
put it in a bag, bring it home, cube it off, and have like rum or whiskey on the rocks, right?
Beautiful.
Jump on
Well, that was pretty much Banff in a nutshell. Beautiful lakes, drinking tips from the locals, and savage wildlife. Banff's a beautiful mountain town. In Canada, we're really looking forward to this place, and it didn't disappoint. The restaurants and cafes were great. We stayed at the Fox Hotel, had a little spa, pool area underneath, heated, which was quite nice as well. And just a really nice feel to the town. A lot of Australian, New Zealand, and English sort of backpackers staffing the restaurants and things like that. So you're able to find some common sort of ground with those guys and different chats and things. And yeah, well serviced with tours. We did Lake Louise, Lake Moraine, a trip up to the Gondola above Banff, and up to the Columbia ice fields a few hours north, which was a pretty good experience too. The Fox Hotel was a short walk up into the main street of town. It was a little strange. We're there in summer, but there's snow and ice around everywhere you go, sort of out of town. But you could walk around town in the daytime in shirts and shorts and enjoy a cocktail and a real sort of a summery feel to it. And then you look up and you see the snow-capped mountains, which for Queenslanders, that's quite bizarre. But lots of choices of nice food, restaurants. Prices were pretty reasonable in Canada, we thought. Definitely, highly recommended to go to Banff or the little towns like it. We'd love to do a longer road trip through this area. It's on the list of things to do. But yeah, after a long day an afternoon of having a few quiet drinks and stuff like that, they've also got these little chairs around that you can just snuggle up on and have a little rest. So here we're going up the Banff Gondola, up to the top of Sulphur Mountain. Sulphur Mountain's about the same height as Mount Kosciuszko, or the peak of Mount Kosciuszko, so quite a small mountain for their standards over there, but for us it's quite large. At the top there's like a visitor centre, some displays and walk-through sort of interpretive centre. There's a restaurant. We had lunch up there and enjoyed the views. You got sort of glass wall views. We were lucky enough to have a seat right on the window, and we're sort of looking at those views while we're eating. And then this is just from the front of the visitor centre, looking out over a bit of a walk up to the next peak. After lunch we had a bit more of a look at the interpreter centre, sort of walked up the path there a little bit towards the peak, Mirror Bear and things like that. But then as we were leaving, we came across a bighorn sheep just wandering around up the top there, and were able to get a couple of good photos of that before we left. This is Lake Louise. There's two lakes that people talk about a lot. There's Lake Louise and Lake Moraine. And there's discussion around which one's the better one. At the time of our visit, Lake Louise had a lot more water in it, and I think even so it would have probably been still my pick out of the two. Although there is another one that comes up a little bit later in the video called, it's on Bow River. I think it's Lake Bow, but anyway, it's another beautiful lake, a little further north of Banff. These lakes are a photographer's sort of dream. It's a little hard to get to some of them. they sort of block off the parking and stuff like that. You've got to take someone you trust, otherwise they'll push you in the water, like Cheryl was thinking of doing right here. You can see the look on her face. But they're really worth. This one also has a hotel you can stay at right on the lake. Very expensive, but you know, if you can afford it, it's probably well worth the money to wake up to views like this every day. Little fella.
It's a shame about the ice to get the pictures, but it looks pretty at the same time. So there goes my that answered my question, right?
About what?
That the lake life up over winter.
Yeah.
I just need more water to come in.
We must just keep filling up.
Okay.
Must just fill up with the ice.
Yeah.
So this is Lake Moraine. As you can see sort of here, the snow melt hasn't sort of started yet. But when the water's up and it's a beautiful crystal clear sort of a lake with those mountain backdrops, I can just imagine it'd be just as spectacular as Lake Louise, and a lot of people say it's their favourite as well.
Off to the left, we're getting some views up on those cliffs of the Crowfoot Glacier, which was named after Chief Crowfoot, a Blackfoot chief and one of the signatories of Treaty 7. And it does feed into Bow Lake, and we're just a few moments away from Bow Lake and our first stop on our time together today. But still a few bits of ice on the surface. Just this altitude and this location, it does take a while to thaw out from the winter before it's totally clear of ice.
Camera. Yeah. I actually liked Bow Lake probably better than the other two. It was beautiful, maybe not quite as nice or pretty as Lake Louise, but it's a lot more open, lot quieter for people. You've got sort of bushland that you can walk around the lake on the banks. There's sort of set form walkways and stuff like that. There is a little lodge here as well. I think a little bit, maybe a lot cheaper than the Lake Louise one, which again is quite expensive, but in the order of $1,000 a night type expensive for Lake Louise, whereas here's a lot cheaper than that, and you just don't have the amount of crowds and people sort of walking through that you do at those other two lakes.
So yeah, hiking up there, well, yeah, it's doable. You have to deal with some snow, but not too much. So maybe as long as you have little cleats or grippers, it should be no problem.
And before we get down on the actual incline here, if you look to the very back of the glacier, do you notice that it kind of goes up at 3 levels to the very top? At the very back here? So folks, the very top would be the tip of the Columbia ice field. The rest of the ice coming down the head wall is called transitional ice because it is leaving the ice field to add on to the Athabasca Glacier. Those ice steps are moving 60 centimeters a day, which is the equivalent of about 24 inches, I believe. And then the glacier itself is moving 30 centimeters a day, which is 12 inches. You guys are so quiet, it's making me nervous. Oh yeah, wave at this driver right now, folks, because Wyatt has no idea, but it's his last day. So give a nice send on, would you?
Aww.
Look at him, he has no idea.
So this is part of the Columbia Icefield adventure sort of a tour that we did, where you sort of walk up on this glacier, or you get those big snow buses that bring you down onto the glacier. And you walk around and it's pretty cool and literally pretty cool because you're standing on a ton of ice, but it's good. They have a flag there, you can get some photos taken at. There's a little stream where it's melting, and you can go and fill your water bottle up, and we drank some glacier ice water. If you're so inclined, you can stick your head in it and have a ice sort of a facial. Yeah, it's well worth the trip up there. It takes a whole day to sort of get from Banff. You leave fairly early, 6:30, 7 a.m. sort of thing. You take the whole day to get up here with a few stops on the way and check it all out, and then you do the skywalk. You can do the skywalk as part of the tour as well, which we've tacked on, and there's a little bit of footage of that coming up soon. You get that loose stuff off, it's quite slippery.
It is, I know it is.
Yep.
Might got this track somewhere.
So you want one of me?
Yeah. What's the house?
46, I think. The goose.
Oh, that's the goose. Oh, that's ours. I could have sworn that was ours.
How we doing, folks?
Right.
Frozen? You guys are allowed to go back on the buses and get warm if you want to,
Oh,
but also this is
yeah.
just part of the experience, you know.
Oh yeah.
This is the first time our holiday has been snow. So,
Oh, no way.
Yeah. 'Cause
Awesome.
where we live, we just, it's warm all the time.
Where are you guys from?
Australia, like Queensland.
Oh yeah, God yeah.
Yeah.
No snow there.
Yeah.
Not a thing.
Not a thing, no.
No, a little bit of snow in the freezer maybe. That's about it, right?
All I'm missing here is a bit of whiskey to go off all the ice.
Well, you know what we used to do last year is we'd go a bit past the turnaround point where people weren't walking all day,
Yeah.
and we'd chip off the first layer of ice and then like saw into the glacier, take a chunk,
Yep.
put it in a bag, bring it home, cube it off, and have
Wow.
like rum or whiskey on the
Yeah.
rocks. Right?
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Where are you from?
I grew up in Yarmouth, Nova Scotia, on the east coast of Canada.
Okay.
So then my friend of mine that used to do this exact job got me here for my first year here, and then he left and went and did whatever.
Yeah, okay.
But he called me one day and he goes, "You need to get your ass out of your mom's house." He's like, "You're living there on EI right now, like unemployment." He's like, "Get out of there, come out here, I got a job for you right now." And then literally a week later, I was here.
But
Yeah, I
I'm
mean-
enjoying it. Is it better than what you're doing?
Oh, I'll never go back.
Exactly.
Never go back. You know, like it's.
Different.
I'm over being cold now because
Yeah.
I've been living in
Yeah.
winter now for
Yeah.
almost 2 years.
Yeah.
But I will say that once the season's over, I'm going somewhere hot. You know, like
Australia.
that's
Yeah,
what
yeah.
my girlfriend and I are thinking, doing it for a work visa.
Yeah.
Actually going to
Oh,
Australia.
Oh, yeah.
Go to work Sundays, go work
Oh,
up there in the tourist.
Sundays
Yeah, that's what I was
Yeah,
thinking. I was like,
beautiful,
trying
yeah.
bus tourism, and
Exactly.
you know what I mean. Like, if I can do it here, I can do it anywhere, right?
Gosh.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's really cool.
How long before that drive one of these, like where you had to be?
What they do is they put you on the shuttles and they make sure you can drive and talk and give a good tour and that you're good with guests. And basically, they just choose the best of the
Yeah,
best.
good.
So if you're on the ice, it's a huge privilege and a huge responsibility.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're driving a $2.1 million bus. You got up to 56 people behind you that you're responsible for. So it's a very big responsibility, and the tour is more extensive on these than the rest of the buses.
Yeah.
So they kind of handpick us.
Yeah, good.
But I'm the driver trainer, so I trained all these guys this year. And then now that everyone's trained, they're like, "Hey, you want your favorite bus? You want to go do tours?" I was like, "Man, I haven't given a tour since October last year. Like I'm rusty right now."
Like the top part of the ice.
Oh, yeah, top of the ice. There
You usually make some goose references.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm thinking.
Well, yeah, I watched Maverick last night, right? The new Job going.
Yeah,
I thought,
it's great.
hey, I got in the bus this morning. I was pre-trip. It was just me. I was waiting for my first tour to get there. I looked in the mirror and I just thought I had the glasses like this, right? I looked up and I was like, "Talk to me, Goose." It was one of those good moments. I was like, "Yep."
Great movie. They waited long enough.
It was,
great.
yeah, because if they did it too soon, it wouldn't have been good,
Exactly.
you know. But some of those flight scenes, man,
Oh,
awesome, right?
gosh.
But what I used to say, what I have said before, the path of the goose, I say, "Welcome to bus 546, otherwise known as the Goose Bus. Yes, he has been revived from the dead. Unfortunately, Maverick is too busy making Mission Impossible movies."
Oh, yeah, a ball.
Or abusing Katie Holmes.
Yeah.
I had to make one joke like
Yeah.
that. But yeah, no, it makes for a very fun day, you know, like when you get to drive out here 5-6 times a day, and you might want to do that last tour at 5 o'clock in the evening, but usually at that time of day is when the wind just like dies and you're in the sun, so it's just like it's an oasis up here, right?
I'd like the twilight, like to come out.
Oh, it'd be great when it's just
Yeah.
dead quiet and just listening to the rocks move and the
Well,
ice.
you know, I came out here a couple of days ago to do the boundary signs before the tours all
Oh,
started,
yeah.
and I was here by myself. I had my coffee mug there, and I thought, wow.
Yeah.
Because you could hear it, you could hear it shifting, you could hear
Yeah.
the water moving,
Yeah.
and just a cool experience, right?
Won't you be all mine? Stay a little while. Oh, my worn down woman, got you on my mind. Get you out of my head and into my eyes. Oh, my worn down woman, be all mine. Dances like a diamond shines, I swear she turns my water into wine. Tells me when I'm doing wrong, and she loves to sway and sing along. She's fine. When my soul is on the ground, she knows to pick it up and hang around.
Do you want to play that?
On my mind by night and day, and that's alright, yeah, that's okay for now, now. Won't you be all mine? Stay a little while. Oh, my worn down woman, got you on my mind. Get you out of my head and into my eyes. Oh, my worn down woman, be all mine. Shadows creep on in your mind and trouble leaves you.
Wow, we'll actually go near that cloud.
Be all mine. Won't you be all mine? Stay a little while. Oh, my worn down woman, got you on my mind. Get you out of my head
like frozen waterfalls.
Oh, I saw that yesterday too when we were going. Feel every stone that they shoot.
Alright, at least we have a run at them if we see a bear.
Yeah, I know. Just make noise.
What are you making noise for? We want to see them.
No, they said take a bell or something like that.
Who said
Those
take a
other
bell?
people were in front of us.
Who said take a bell? The bell reference relates to a story that the Canadians like to tell where they say there's two types of bears in the woods. There's brown bears or grizzly bears and black bears. The brown bears will eat you. The black bears sort of won't hurt you. They just eat, nuts and berries and things like that. So they say, but if you take a little bell with you when you walk and you ring it, the bears will hear you coming and they'll hopefully sort of move out of the way. And then the tourist sort of asked, how can you tell the difference between a brown bear or a black bear? And they said, well, if you look around the area, you can see the scat on the ground. The black bear poo will have sort of like nuts and berries and stuff in it, and the brown bear poo will have these little bicycle bells in it. Taking photos? One job. Two jobs.
What's my second one?
Take photos and look pretty. That's all you got to do.
Where are we?
Yeah.
Like you're coming by late, covering up the fact that you're gone. Lied to myself.
The last few minutes, as we've been driving and the little walk and stuff we just went on, is as we're leaving Banff and we're on I think it's Highway 93, which also crosses the border and goes to US Highway 93. The area is called Kootenay National Park, and it's a very beautiful drive. Little places to stop and walk, as you've sort of seen on the video. But you go through a couple of mountain passes, and you're up in the clouds and stuff at some times. But then as you sort of start to come sort of out to the east, down southeast sort of thing into a big wide valley, you go through this rock pass, which in places is no more than, it looks like maybe 50 metres wide at the top, and sort of comes down around you. And just an engineering feat to build a road through these sorts of places. It makes it a really special drive.
Border crossing.
It's a border crossing.
400 meters. Turn right off the US Coast Line.
That is so funny.
Hey. Yes, you can. Swap you. Oops. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. See you later. That did look a bit dodgy, but the story is we just stopped about 500 or 600 metres up the road into a little duty-free shop, and we wanted to use up a few extra Canadian dollars that we still had up our sleeves, so we pulled in and bought some stuff, but they can't give it to you. They have to drive down and meet you at the border, and then, as you've just seen, hand it over, and you're free to go through the border, but it certainly looks pretty dodgy. Hi, mate.
Just hand me your passport.
That's all you want?
Well,
Hold down your back window, turn off your engine, remove the sunglasses.
Turn off your engine.
The window go down? No. That one.
What were you doing in Canada?
Oh, I just went into Banff for 5 or 6 days.
Did you purchase or acquire anything?
No, just your normal trinkets
just
and
trinkets
stuff like
and
that.
the duty free.
Yeah, any kind of fruits or vegetables.
Nope.
Alcohol or tobacco.
Just a bottle each of alcohol.
Weapons or ammunition.
Nope.
Where are you headed to now?
Probably Sandpoint.
Yeah.
And purpose of your travels?
Oh, just a holiday road trip.
How long are you going to be in the United States?
I think we leave end of the month, about the 30th.
26. We get home on the 28th.
Anything else to declare?
Nope.
Have a good day.
Yeah, have a good day
Thank
too. Oops.
It's happy, wasn't he?
Turn right onto US 95.
Right. I don't want to turn left. Have to go back through Happy again.
Mm.
We're gonna be two hearts running wild.